Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka Durant33. I'm back here today with another episode of the Legit Shoot podcast for you guys, and we got another NBA podcast here today. Thanks for the support you guys showed on the last video. I didn't know how you guys would take it since we don't do that much NBA stuff on here, but definitely it is something I want to do more of going forward. So you guys did show a lot of support on the Kyrie video we did Sunday night, so I was like, let's do another one. So you guys keep showing support on these videos. I will keep up the NBA videos as well. That doesn't mean no WWE or anime videos. It's just, I want to mix, some other things here as well for you guys. And I love talking about NBA. But, we're going to be talking about the blockbuster trade that happened when we were all asleep last night, and that is Kevin Durant to the Phoenix Suns. Easily the biggest trade of the year so far. And, the NBA trade deadline is today. I'm recording this on Thursday. I'm going to work after I film this video, but the trade deadline is today at 4 p.m., so there's the potential for even more crazy trades to happen in the coming hours. But, this is already maybe the wildest trade deadline we've ever had. We have, of course, Kyrie Irving to the Mavs on Sunday, and he played his first game as a Mav last night in a win against the Clippers. I know Luka didn't play, but Kyrie, I think he had 24 points. And, it'll definitely be one of the biggest things to look forward to as we enter the second half of the season. Him and Luka, and can they win a title in Dallas? But, those odds, I know some people had the Mavs now as the favorite in the West, or at least one of the top contenders, but those odds took a huge hit in a matter of hours because of the Kevin Durant trade to the Suns. And it's not a surprising trade because we knew that once Kyrie was let go from the Mavericks, that it was only a matter of time. I said on Sunday I would not be surprised if KD was traded before this coming trade deadline. I know the reports were that the Mavs were hoping that they could still build around KD and make a couple other deals as well, especially with the first round picks that they got from Dallas for the Kyrie trade. But, my prediction was originally that KD was just going to get traded in the offseason, especially when you can get a lot more for him. But he got traded before the deadline, which I'm not surprised. And I'm not surprised it's the Suns either. That was the most likely team to trade for him. We've known all week. We've known for nearly a year since KD first made that trade request last summer that the Suns wanted him. So this isn't any major surprise. But there's multiple layers, I think, to this story, right? And like I said, this has been a crazy trade deadline. Kyrie getting traded to the Mavs. Russell Westbrook, that's the other deal. I thought that was going to be the big deal everyone was going to be talking about because, Russell Westbrook is finally gone from the Lakers. Good riddance. I have a nickname for Westbrook, and I'm not going to say it because it is kind of inappropriate. That's something I would say more, when I'm with my friends outside of this setting. But the good on the Lakers for finally getting rid of that overrated piece of crap. I'm not a Russell Westbrook guy. And definitely what the Lakers got in return for Westbrook was definitely, I think, an upgrade. I think they're a much better team now. Not that it's going to mean anything. Even if they get in the play-in or sneak into the playoffs, I think their ceiling is a second round, probably a first-round exit. I think, especially now with the deals that have been done in the West has beefed up significantly in the coming days. Remember, this last week, we were talking about how the West was an open conference, right? And now the West has absolutely just completely changed in the last week with Curry being injured, Kyrie to the Mavs, and now KD to the Suns. I now, in those particular order, I look at the contenders. You have the Suns, who are probably the favorites now. You have the Nuggets, you have the Mavericks, you have the Warriors, when they're healthy. When they're healthy, we can't leave the Warriors out of the mix. You put the Grizzlies up there and the Pelicans. I think those 6 teams are definitely the teams that you need to watch out for going forward. And the Lakers, like I said, I think with what the trade they made, that they can sneak into the playoffs. Make it to the play-in at the minimum. but still, like they still don't have enough, I think, to compete with those other six teams I just named. Um, I think they're probably a first round exit waiting to happen. Especially if they have to face like Phoenix, Denver, or New Orleans or the Grizzlies. If they sneak in, they're gonna probably play one of those four teams. Anyway, we'll get more to the Lakers in a little bit, but that's just like kind of my hot take off the press. But the Lakers got better and they traded Westbrook, which was their biggest problem, and it really doesn't mean anything after the KD news. Um, but yeah, let's go layer by layer. There was also some other trades that happened, like the Spurs center Jacob P. He got traded. I wanted the Warriors to get him, but instead I forget what team he got traded to, but he was traded late last night, and there was a couple other small deals as well. Jalen Brunson gets some help in New York. Josh Hart got traded to the Knicks for Cam Reddish. Which I think that's a good trade. There was a video on social media of Jalen Brunson reacting to the news. I guess he was at Villanova, and he was absolutely elated when he saw the trade news appear on his phone. So, um, the Knicks got a little bit better, which I think that could help them a little bit in competing in the East, which is pretty loaded at the moment. But that trade doesn't mean as much with all the other big superstar trades. And there'll definitely be some other trades that will happen today as teams. I think now with what's happened over the last couple of days with Kyrie, KD, and Russell Westbrook being traded, I think teams are going to scramble all day to try to beef up their rosters as well. Because especially if you're in the West, if you want a chance to compete, definitely now with that KD trade to the Suns, you're going to need as much help as you can get. I think the team you need to watch out for is the Warriors. Definitely, they have those young assets. They have some picks. So I would not be surprised if the Warriors pull a big trade later today to try to, keep their title hopes alive, especially with Curry being out. Definitely I still think the Warriors can compete with anybody when they're fully healthy. But now with the KD trade to the Suns, it's not going to be as easy. So I definitely think, if the Warriors are going to go all in and try to win one more title with Draymond, Curry, and Clay as they age a little bit more, I think the Warriors, watch out for them to potentially make a big move later today. So watch out for that. But like I said, there's so many layers to this. I just want to kind of give a little bit of a rant or a little bit, a bunch of takes out front. But let's focus on KD to the Suns for a minute, right? So, all right, KD's going to the Suns. Like I said, not a surprise. I wouldn't have been surprised if this happened today. I wouldn't have been surprised if this happened in the offseason. What was crazy is it happened at 1 a.m. I know on the West Coast it was only 10 o'clock, so it was still early in the night per se. But I was literally, about to go to sleep. I was watching Suits on USA. And I saw the news. I was like, "What the hell, bro?" I was more shocked that the trade was being done so late than the fact that the trade happened at all. And what I would also say is the Nets got absolutely robbed. Absolutely robbed. Like, we had just heard reports on Monday or on Sunday during the Kyrie trade that that the Suns had offered CP3 for Kyrie Irving. And if I'm the Nets, I think that was a better deal than what they got from the Mavs. It was a better deal than what the Lakers offered. It was a better deal than what the Clippers offered, right? But then you trade KD, one of the top 5 players in the world. Some people believe KD at his best is the best player in the world. I don't think that personally, but he's definitely top 3, top 5. No question about it when he's fully healthy. And he was having an MVP season before he got injured. And that always seems the case. KD always seems to get injured around middle of the season when he's having an MVP type run, which, kind of stinks that he's only going to, at least right now, if he was to retire, he would only have one MVP because so many of his MVP caliber seasons were ruined because of injuries, right? And he's kind of brittle. He's injury prone. I just find it crazy how KD, one of the top 5 scorers of all time, and a top 5 player in this league, undisputedly, gets traded for absolutely nothing. Like, literally, you look at the deal itself. The Nets got robbed. I understand. Yes, there was a lot of drama with Zion, with Kyrie, with KD, the Steve Nash thing, the Nets organization. They have a lot of blame to take in this as well. But if you're gonna blow up the team, at least try to get a star in return. What are you doing? I understand everyone's hot over Cam Thomas, and it's kind of like I've seen people making Cam Thomas comparisons to Jeremy Lin from what Jeremy Lin did back in 2011 with the Knicks, right? When Linsanity. And I understand people are hyped about that. But the Nets don't have a star. Ben Simmons is not a star anymore. Until proven otherwise, Ben Simmons, is not a star. That guy is stealing money from that organization. And now, if I'm Ben Simmons, with everything I've done, there's no reason for me to return to that team. Right? Kyrie's gone, KD's gone, right? And I would not be surprised if Ben Simmons tries to sit out the rest of the year. Because now he's going to be like, oh, no point in me playing. We're done. I don't even know the Nets can make the playoffs with the team they have now. It's literally just a bunch of role players. There's no legit star on that team. How do you trade, as much as I dislike Kyrie Irving, right? And KD's one of the best players in the league. How do you trade both those players in the span of 4 days, not even a week, but the span of 4 or 5 days, and get absolutely nothing in return? No star players at all. I understand that there's this huge value over, or surrounding a number one pick, right? And I understand, yes, the Nets get 4 number one picks out of this. Remember, the Nets traded a lot of their first round picks over the last couple of years. The reason why they did that was for multiple reasons. They did that because remember the Celtics trade, the Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett trade, which was one of the worst trades in NBA history. And of course, trading for James Harden, trading for Ben Simmons. So they've lost all their number one picks. So at least, over the last couple of days, they've been able to regain a lot of first round picks, from the Kyrie and KD trade. But still, where's the stars to win now? Where's the stars that are supposed to help your organization win now? Does anybody not see that? We're like, what the hell is happening here? What the hell is happening here? I said earlier, if KD was to get traded in the offseason, either last offseason or this upcoming offseason, God willing, he would get traded for a lot more. A lot more. Look, the trade was simple. Kevin Durant, TJ Warren, which he was like a throw-in, but TJ Warren, remember, he in the bubble, he was one of the best players in the bubble before he got injured. TJ Warren, it has star potential. He's just had to deal with a lot of injuries. TJ Warren is a very good player. So the Suns get TJ Warren, Kevin Durant, right? And the Nets get Jay Crowder, who is a good player, but not a star. Right? He's a great shooter, good defender, not a star. You got Mikal Bridges, who I love, right? But he's not a star. He's similar to Jay Crowder. He's like a better version of Jay Crowder, just a little bit shorter, right? He can shoot. He's a decent defender, and he's always available. He never gets hurt. And then Cam Johnson, right, which is another good player, right, but not a star, and 4 draft picks. Look, Jay Crowder, and remember, Jay Crowder has not played this season because, remember, he requested a trade in the offseason, and they've been working all forever to try to find him a trade, and they finally did. So he'll probably play with the Nets now. But Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, all 3 of those are solid players. No disrespect. They're not scrubs. Those are solid veteran players that I would take on any roster. Any roster. I would have no problem taking any of those players. But none of those players are stars. They're not stars at all. At all. So try to make me understand this. Try to make me understand this. And then you get 4 draft picks, right? 4 unprotected first round draft picks, 2023, 2025, 2027, 2029, and a 2028 pick swap. But here's the thing. You get no star. You're telling me that Kevin Durant gets traded to the Suns, and the Suns get to keep Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton? None of those players were sent in the trade. I can understand Devin Booker. He's the face of that franchise, right? He's that, even though Kevin Durant's going to be the best player, it's Devin Booker's team, right? He's been there forever. That's his team, and he's the face of that franchise. So it was very, very unlikely that he would get traded. But Chris Paul, who is 37 now, he's still great, still one of the best point guards in the league. But Chris Paul he's an aging superstar, right? I'm surprised the Nets didn't ask for him. And I'm willing to bet if the Nets really wanted CP3, they probably could have got him. And then DeAndre Ayton, who's had beef with the Suns all off season. Remember, he's been salty ever since they matched his deal in free agency. He really didn't want to go back there because he wanted a larger contract from them. And we've seen that all throughout the season. He's been playing, but we all know DeAndre Ayton, he's been frustrated. He's been visibly frustrated on the court, right? I don't know if Kevin Durant coming there fixes all that, but still, the fact that the Nets didn't ask for at least CP3 or DeAndre Ayton mind boggles me. Literally is mind boggling. I have no explanation for it. I have no clue how they were able to finesse the Nets into trading KD and not having to give up one of those 2 stars. I don't get it at all. It's literally, you can call it a literal heist. And, the Suns, like I said, they definitely become the favorites now. The Suns definitely become the favorites now, I believe, in the West. The Suns have, they have struggled this season. Of course, they've had injuries. Booker hasn't been available all season. CP3's had injuries as well, right? And, of course, some people believe that part of that is because of that collapse they had against the Mavs in the playoffs last year when they did not show up at all for that Game 7 against the Mavs in the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference semis. But still, and of course, now the Suns have kind of recently have started playing better. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're on a 3-game winning streak right now, and they're now they're 5th in the Western Conference. Right? They're so they're there. So at least they're doing better, and they're about 2.5 games behind the 2-seed Grizzlies. So at least now they're playing better. But it has not been easy for the Suns. It has not been easy at all, and you just look at this team. Now with KD, they easily become the favorites, right? The Nuggets, as great as the Nuggets have played, I'm sorry, but I'll take CP3, KD, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton fully healthy against almost any foursome in this league. They easily probably have the best starting lineup. That's 4 stars right there. One superstar. Well, unless you want to consider Devin Booker a superstar. CP3, he was a superstar, but he's a little bit older now. He's still a star, but still 4. You can say 3 stars and 1 really good player, DeAndre Ayton, if you don't want to call him a star player. But still, those 4, put them up against any 4 in the NBA. The only 4 that I can think of off the top of my head that can maybe compete with that is maybe a healthy Curry, Wiggins, Clay, and Jordan Poole. That's all, and that might still be in a stretch. So definitely, I think the Suns definitely become the favorites now in the West. I'm trying to see if they have their updated roster now. Because now, trying to think. So give me 1 second. But definitely, of course, they did trade, of course, all their role players, really, all their major role players, Crowder, Cam Johnson, and Mikal Bridges. But definitely, let me see if I can find it. I can't find it. I'm having trouble finding it, guys. So yeah, actually, I did find the roster on NBA.com. It's not fully updated, but you have a general sense of this roster, and it's a pretty good one. So of course, you have Devin Booker. You have the starting lineup is probably going to be CP3, Booker, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, and I guess you could say Torrey Craig will probably be their center, which is, it's fine. It's whatever. Of course, maybe TJ Warren sneaks into that lineup. If TJ Warren, you could put TJ Warren at the 3 and move KD down to the 4 and put Aiton clearly at the 5, but you don't have to. You don't have to. You can play big with KD at the 3, Aiton at the 4, and then Craig at the 5. But even without, of course, Craig Johnson, Mikal Bridges, and uh what's his name? I keep and Jay Crowder, right? They still have on the bench. They still have Cameron Payne, who is a solid backup. We've seen when CP3 has gone down, Cameron Payne has been able to step into that role. Great. They have Bismack Biyombo, solid big man. They have Dario Saiz, who can shoot and defend. They have Landry Shamet, who is an underrated 3-point shooter. They have some other role players as well. So I think I forgot they have Damian Lee from the Warriors, who was on the Warriors last year on that title team. I think this team is just going to be just fine. Yes, of course, you're not going to have those veteran players like Mikal, and Jay and Cam Thomas, but or not Cam Thomas, Cameron Johnson. But Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. He's a walking 30-point, scorer every single night. And that's not even talking about what he does from rebounding. He's a decent passer, and he's not a terrible defender either. So they're going to be fine. The Suns are going to be fine. And I definitely think they're going to be the favorites now in the Western Conference. I will say this one thing about KD, though. I definitely think there's going to be people, because it was reported that KD wanted the trade. Right, we haven't heard that KD straight up said or requested another trade after Kyrie was moved to the Mavs, but Woj did tweet that KD wanted this deal. So, and we remember when KD first put out that trade request last year, he said the Suns were one of his preferred destinations, and now he gets that. So definitely, it's not like KD didn't know this was going to happen, because remember the Nets wanted to keep him. But KD definitely wanted the deal. He probably made that clear that he was open to being traded without saying that, he was demanding a trade. But still, I think this is going to be open to criticism, because one thing about KD is he's a follower. He's not a leader. And that's not a hot take. I think a lot of people will agree with me. KD is a follower. He went to join the Warriors when they didn't need him, right? When they had just went 73-9. Then he followed KD to Brooklyn, right? Left Steph Curry to go to Brooklyn, and then now, instead of, potentially staying in Brooklyn and doing stuff like LeBron did in 2018 with bad teams and, just toughing it out and potentially maybe even benefiting his legacy, but trying to go on a deep run with a team where he's the only legitimate star. He runs, and now he's going to a stacked team in Phoenix. A stacked team where he doesn't even have to be the best player. If he chooses to, he can let Devin Booker run the show. He can let Chris Paul run the show. He can let DeAndre Ayton have his moments. So, yeah, I think it's open to criticism. KD, he's always on a stacked superstar team. Literally, like look at the teams that KD has been on. He was on the OKC with the young Westbrook and the young Harden, which, was kind of a young superstar team. Then he went to the Warriors, which was arguably the most loaded superstar team of all time, when it was him, Steph, Draymond, and Clay all in their primes. Then he went to Brooklyn, right, with Kyrie at first. Then they had James Harden. Then they had, Ben Simmons. So, and now he's in Phoenix with CP3 and Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. KD's been on a stacked team, a superstar team, all-star team his entire career. So I definitely think there's going to be people that, yes, even though this is a great deal, Chris Paul might finally get that ring, which is the only thing missing from his legacy. Devin Booker, he might take that next step into the superstar category with this deal. But I definitely think it's open to debate and criticism that KD is a follower and just somebody who always believes he needs to have a stacked team around him. And I honestly think that, because look, LeBron's been on bad teams and made them to the finals, right? Like, come on, you know? And definitely, if KD, let's say it works out and he wins in Phoenix, yes, sure, he gets a ring and might be enough to put him in the top 10 players of all time. But what does that do for his leg? Like, when people look back, will they be like, were you the bus driver? Were you the bus driver on those teams, or did you just go to places where everything was set up perfectly? Everything was set up perfectly for him in Golden State. Everything was set up perfectly for him in Brooklyn, and it didn't work out. And now everything is set up perfectly for them to be the favorites for the title in Phoenix. Honestly, the Suns should probably be the favorites to win the West now and make it to the finals. There's no excuse. And now you can make the argument that KD is not the bus driver. He really isn't. Because look, he just goes where the teams are stacked and where he has the best odds to win a title, instead of building a team around him, and then using other players. It's like you can make the argument, oh, KD always needs stars to be happy. He can never be on a team where he's the only star and make other people better. We've seen it from Steph. We've seen it from LeBron. We've seen it from other greats. We've seen it with Giannis, right? But we've never seen that with KD. So I definitely think that is a criticism that is very, very fair to bring up. I'm not trying to do this as me trying to hate on KD, right? But I definitely think it is very, very fair to say, because you're going to see people say it. Because KD wanted to go to the Suns. It wasn't like, oh, this was, KD had nothing to do with this. He told the Nets, I want to go to Phoenix. He said that last off season, and he made it known that he wanted this trade now. So KD wanted to go somewhere where he would have the best odds and the best team to win a championship. So definitely, I think the criticism is definitely fair. I definitely think it's fair, and it is what it is. It's going to be fun as hell to see CP3 diamond Chris Paul up, right? I can see behind the back passes to KD for three, and then Devin Booker. Definitely, the Suns are going to be insane to defend. You're gonna need a team like the Celtics or the Bucks, who are great defensively, to at least have a chance of neglecting those stars. The Suns are gonna be ridiculously tough to guard now. Because Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and KD are all amazing iso ball players. So if you don't have really good talented defenders there to at least hold them, it's gonna be nightmare for teams in the West. So we'll see what happens, but I definitely think the Suns are the favorites now to win the Western Conference. Right? Before I was still having hope for Celtics Warriors finals again, get a rematch. My prediction now has changed. I think we're gonna get a Celtics Suns NBA finals now. That is my prediction. But we'll see what happens. We still have a long way to go. Still got about 30 games left in the season, right? So injuries are going to happen and stuff like that. But definitely, fully healthy, I'm predicting the Celtics Suns finals as of right now. Yeah, let's talk about Russell Westbrook. Like I said, this was the trade that I thought was going to be what everyone talked about, right? Until KD stole the news at 1 a.m. Russell Westbrook is out of the LA, and definitely I got to give the Lakers props. This was definitely the move that needed to be done. If especially after not getting Kyrie for whatever reason. We know that the Lakers, they offered those picks to the Nets, and they tried they offered the picks. They tried to offer Westbrook, right? But the Nets weren't budging. And, of course, part of that has to do with Joe Tsai just didn't want, Kyrie to get to the Lakers. But it's interesting that, now they traded Westbrook, right? And they got, a lot of great players in return. But it means nothing because of the KD to the Suns do. On the Westbrook side, look, he's going to Utah, and there's a chance Utah might buy him out. He might not even play a game with them. He might, he doesn't, they might just buy him out, and they might just buy him out, and then maybe, we've already heard that the Bulls are interested in him. The Clippers are potentially interested as well. So definitely, there's a lot of different moving pieces here. So we'll see. But if Westbrook does stay on the Jazz, of course he'll be able to put up great numbers. It's not going to be anybody to stop him, right? Even though it doesn't mean anything, but it'll be entertaining for the Jazz fans, to at least have a star player, I guess, if you still consider Westbrook a star. He'll be able to do whatever he wants, really. If he gets bought out, him going to the Clippers, I don't know if that helps them because we know the problems that Westbrook brought to the Lakers. So why would the Clippers want that? But like I said, who knows? Like I said, who knows? I don't know. I don't know. But the thing is, I don't think Westbrook going to the Clippers would do much. And just remember, John Wall's still on that team. I kind of and I hate how John Wall's been treated in the NBA. That guy can still play, and literally, with the Wizards and the Rockets and now the Clippers, man, like I just don't know why he just gets this disrespect. But I don't. If I'm the Clippers, I don't know why I would want Westbrook. Especially when I have good guards on that team already, like Reggie Jackson. I have John Wall. I think if I'm the Clippers, I like the team I have, and I don't think I need Westbrook to come in. I think that causes more problems than solutions and positives. But Westbrook to the Bulls. Look, I don't even know what's been going on with the Bulls this season, to be honest. Where are they in the East Conference? The Bulls are ninth. So they're an okay team. They're not a great team or anything. I know they have DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, and they've had injuries, but I don't think Westbrook going to the Bulls helps that team as well. But hey, go for it. I think if you get Westbrook, it made us move you from the 9th seed, maybe up to the 7th seed. Really, maybe gets you out of that play and it makes you sneak into the playoffs just to get ousted in the first round. But like I said, I don't know what Westbrook adds to a team now. I really don't. I'm not saying he can't play, but his style of play doesn't fit for most teams. He can't shoot the ball. He's a turnover machine. He has an ego, right, where he just doesn't care at times. Like, it doesn't matter how many mistakes he does. He's still going to play the same way. So I don't know. I don't know when it pertains to Westbrook, really, but I don't know. We'll see. But the Lakers got rid of him, which they definitely needed to. I know they wanted Kyrie. Maybe, they still could potentially get Kyrie now in the offseason, right? Because of, now you get Westbrook's contract off your books. You'll have some cap space. But, I don't know. Kyrie could re-sign in Dallas. I was thinking, what if Kyrie, tries to go to Phoenix? What if he tries to reunite with KD in Phoenix? Right? We know that Kyrie hated the Nets organization, despite his inability to be self-aware, because he played a role in the destruction of that team. But whatever. I think, I would not be surprised if, say, if Kyrie, after the season, regardless of what happens in Dallas, maybe the Suns, they get rid of CP3. They were looking to move him, right? What if the Suns move CP3, and then Kyrie comes in? I think that is something we should keep in mind. I don't know how it would work from a contract standpoint because you have KD and Devin Booker both on max deals, I think. So I think Kyrie would probably have to come in on less money. And we know Kyrie wants a max contract for 3-4 seasons. So I don't know. But it is something we should, keep in mind. But yeah, in terms of the Lakers trade, they got where's it? Yeah, so it was a 3-team trade between the Lakers, the T-Wolves, and the Jazz. So the Lakers got D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt. The Minnesota, they got Mike Conley, Nickeil Alexander Walker. They got a 2024 second-round pick swap, a 2025 second-round pick, and a 2026 second-round pick. So they got a bunch more picks. And Utah gets Russell Westbrook, Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and a 2027 first round pick as well. But look, for the Lakers side, definitely Lakers. They got better. Like I said, I think this gets the Lakers into the playoffs now. But I don't think it's enough to contend with the Grizzlies, the Warriors, the Pelicans, the Nuggets, the Suns, and the Mavericks. I think the Lakers are probably a first round exit. I think at best, maybe just maybe they could get to the second round, but I honestly think it gets them. This guarantees that the Lakers will probably be able to sneak their ways into the playoffs, but they're probably a first round exit waiting to happen. But hey, if you're a Lakers fan, I think you rather be in the playoffs than not be in the playoffs at all. But yeah, you get D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell gets the come back home to the Lakers. Remember, he was there early in his career, back when Kobe was still with us. Rest in peace, Kobe. Remember, Russell, he had a lot of drama with him in Los Angeles, but I think Russell, of course, that was years ago, right? Russell was a rookie at the time, and definitely I think he has aged and matured. He's better in the league now. He hasn't had as much trouble with like teams like the Warriors and the T Wolves. So definitely, I think Russell coming in, he's probably the starting point guard. I think Shooter now becomes the sixth man, but Russell, he comes in. You could also probably rely on Russell to run the offense when LeBron needs a breather, and maybe AD as well, if like LeBron or AD are need a night off because of injuries or anything like that. Yes, Russell's not a good defender, but definitely he's going to be able to provide a lot of scoring on that team. And he should be able to help a little bit with LeBron and AD. So definitely, and there's some people thinking that Russell should have been a sleeper for the All Star team. I don't think that, but still, I think Russell's definitely going to help them with what that team needs, and they need scoring badly. Malik Beasley, I think that's definitely this is another good player that they in this trade. Beasley, good. He's a good 3-point shooter and he could defend. Definitely that helps with what the Lakers need more than anything. They need shooting. They've been a horrible 3-point shooting team all year. So definitely, Beasley's gonna help stretch the floor, and I think he's gonna be valuable for them. He's gonna help with their scoring woes. And then Jared Vanderbilt, another good guy as well. He averages about 8 or 9 a game, so he'll be good for them off the bench. He can shoot a little bit as well. So like I said, the Lakers definitely got better. And what did you lose really in this trade? You lost Westbrook, Toscano Anderson, and Damian Jones. Well, 2 out of the 3 players weren't really big contributors. They were just bench players. So the Lakers definitely got better here. They beefed up the starting lineup, right? They're gonna have more scoring, and they have some help off the bench as well with Beasley and Vanderbilt. So yeah, and you still have good players like Lonnie Walker. You still have Austin Reeves. So I think the Lakers are going to be okay. They're not going to be a good defensive team because they did get a little bit smaller, right? Sir Beasley's a good defender, but he'll probably be coming off the bench. But still, I think this is enough now that the Lakers should be able to get into the playoffs. You still have Hachimura, who's played, all right for the Lakers so far. So I'll give Rob Pelinka credit. Yes, you didn't get Kyrie, but you were able to make some moves. You were able to bring in some good players, 4 good players really: Russell, Beasley, Vanderbilt, and Hachimura. So at least now, he's done. He's tried. He's tried to build some help around LeBron and AD. So if LeBron and AD can stay healthy, because that is a question, of course, I definitely think the Lakers should be a playoff team now. I don't think they have any shot at the title, but of course with LeBron and his greatness, there's always going to be a puncher's chance. But still, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I definitely think this was a good trade for the Lakers. Westbrook, who I don't really care about him, who I don't care if he goes to the Clippers, the Bulls, the Jazz, free agency, retirement, don't care. The guy was the disaster. And that's that. Yes, sure, he's a future Hall of Famer, whatever. But I think if you're a Lakers fan, you are ecstatic that you don't have him on your team. Of course, the KD news kind of overshines this, but still, if you're a Lakers fan this morning, I think you feel a lot better, at least about your playoff chances now. Because literally, with Westbrook on that team the last season and a half, it was literal civil war in the Laker fan base for forever. But it is what it is. But if the Lakers don't make the playoffs now with this roster, it's a complete failure. That would be a complete failure. There's no reason why the Lakers should not be able to make the playoffs now with this roster you have surrounding LeBron and AD. Um, yeah. Finally, um, I wanted to say one more thing about Kyrie before we get out of here. Kyrie reacted to the news. Remember, Kyrie did beat the Clippers in his Mavs debut last night. Luka's not fully healthy yet, but they're hoping that Luka will be back in the next couple games, so we'll get to see Luka and Kyrie finally play together. But Kyrie, he got the news at the press conference after the game, and he said that he's happy for KD. Like, remember, they're still friends, regardless of how, all the drama that happened in Brooklyn. KD and Kyrie are still friends. And, Kyrie said that, good for him for getting out of there. Kyrie, man, is just taking all the shots he can at Brooklyn. And like I said, some are fair, but also there's, Kyrie has, like, in my opinion, Kyrie has no self-awareness at all and refuses to take any responsibility for what he played a role in the, the failures of that franchise. But yeah, Kyrie, now, he said he's going to be fun, because the Mavs and the Suns, they do play very often, they're rivals. So definitely that's going to be, and I know a lot of people now are going to want a Suns versus Mavs playoff series because, of course, what happened last season, and now the two teams look completely different. Luka and Kyrie, CP3, Booker, and KD. That would be a very, very fun playoff series. So hopefully we can get that. But yeah, like I said, I would keep this in mind. I would not be surprised if Kyrie tries to go to Phoenix in the offseason. I definitely think that's on the table now. With CP3, he's going to be 38, in the offseason. I would not be surprised if the Suns try to move off CP3. Because remember, they tried to trade CP3 to Brooklyn for Kyrie earlier this week. So I would not be surprised if, the Suns, quietly let go of CP3, either trade him, do a sign and trade or something with him this offseason, and try to make room to get Kyrie to Phoenix, because Kyrie will be a free agent. The only thing is, with KD and Booker on max contracts, I don't know if Kyrie's going to be able to get that max contract. So he might have to go to Phoenix for less if he wanted to do that. But who knows? Like I said, that's a long way away. But put it in your brains now. I would not be surprised if Kyrie tries to go to the Suns this coming off season if things don't work out in Dallas. Plus, of course, the Lakers are always in the mix as well. But very, very interesting stuff. And the last thing I'll say before we get out of here, man, absolute failure by the Brooklyn Nets, man. I know there was a lot of drama from Steve Nash to Harden, the Simmons, the KD, the Kyrie. It was drama on drama on drama. They were always in the news, and it was so annoying. And I understand. This is what happens when you let the players run the asylum. KD and Kyrie had too much power in Brooklyn. Too much power. Kyrie saying stuff that we don't need a coach, undermining the organization. Of course, the players had a big role in that, but still, the fact that, 3-4 years, the Nets, with all these trades, all these deals they've done, and now they're right back to where they started, really. And they're just another team, and they have literally no stars. Their roster is it's a bunch of role players. It's a bunch of role players. There's no star. You can have a debate on who's the best player on that team. Is it Spencer Dinwiddie? Is it Mikal Bridges? Like, and literally, those are all good players. But none of them are stars. So I don't know. But it's something. It is a failure, bro. But everything that the Nets tried to do, build, you bring in KD and Kyrie, right? Two of the best scorers of all time, offensive juggernauts, and you never even got to a conference finals. You had KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, who all three were in their prime. Harden's near the end of his prime now, but still, all three in their prime couldn't get to a conference finals, even though they were the favorites to win the NBA finals 2 seasons in a row. Bringing in Ben Simmons, everything. It's a failure. It's a little failure. I know now, of course, they have a bunch of picks and they have a bunch of role players that they could use in deals. So definitely, it's not like they're in a horrible place. But from the expectations that this team had to contend for championships for at least 2-3 seasons, to go from that to a team that I don't even know if that team can make the playoffs now, and they have no star on that team, but just a bunch of role players and Ben Simmons, who I don't even know what to say about him at this point. Uh, it's a failure. It's a failure. It's a failure on the players. It's a failure on the organization. It's a failure on ownership. And I think the Nets should be ashamed of themselves. And, if I'm a Nets fan, I don't even know how to feel after all this. I really don't. So I actually feel kind of bad for some of the Nets fans out there. But, it is what it is. But we'll see. The Nets have picks and role players now, so we'll see. Maybe they can rebuild. Maybe sign some players in the offseason. But I don't know how any star player would want to go to Brooklyn with everything that's happened there in the last couple of years. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. We'll just have to see what happens and go from there. But yeah. Other than that, that's about all I got for you guys today, man. Thank you guys for joining me here on the podcast. If you guys enjoy the NBA content, leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts on the trades and, all that. If there's any other blockbuster NBA trades that happen this week, with the trade deadline happening later today at 4, I may make another video. We'll see. But either way, man, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think will happen with KD on the Suns and Kyrie on the Mavs and, the Lakers now. What are the ceilings for those three teams? But either way, thank you guys for joining me here. I will see you guys later. Follow me down on social media. Links are in the description down below. Have a great day, guys. I'll see y'all later.